Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another 3D Hangouts episode 191. TouchTones and Igniters.
That's right, this week we're going to be taking a look at how to possibly blow up things up with the CircuitPython.
Okay. We'll look at some CNC milling and 3D printing.
All that and more on 3D Hangouts.
You said it. Let's run the intro. Excellent. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another 3D Hangouts. My name is Noah Ruiz. I'm a designer here at Adafruit, and joining me every week is Mega Man.
What's going on everybody? I'm Paige Ruiz, Creative Tech here at Adafruit, and every week we come to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right, this is where we combine 3D printing, data electronics, try to make some cool content for you folks. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let's start off with paying some bills. Today's coupon code is CAPTOUCH, so if you want to pick up anything in the Adafruit shop, you can use coupon code CAPTOUCH, and it'll get you 10% off just about anything, except
software and...
We're going to do software.
Oh, yeah.
It's gift certificates and
subscriptions.
Yeah. But if you are interested in those, please do get those.
It expires at 11:59 p.m. tonight.
Yeah.
So definitely take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm. Take advantage of our free deals as well. If you go to adafruit.com/free, you can see we got some freebies going on. We are no longer offering the free Circuit Playground Express. We're out of supplies, so we have to go make some more.
That's right, but you can check back every day to see if they are back in stock.
Or use the email notification. You can just type your email in the little box, and it'll email you when we have them in stock. Awesome. We also have same-day delivery for the folks in New York City. So if you really need your parts and you happen to live in New York City, you have the option to get same-day delivery. It's amazing. And we have a CircuitPython meeting that happens every Monday at 2 p.m. So if you want to join that, you can actually sit in the recording while it happens on Adafruit's Discord server. Adafruit's Discord server, which is linked up there above our chat, discord.gg/Adafruit. You can get project help, you can share your projects, and just kind of see the community of makers that are posting really cool stuff.
Yeah, all the actual developers that are working on all of the cool stuff at Adafruit are always hanging out in there. We're in the 3D printing chat room, but there's a ton of different rooms in there. Everything from education makers, educators, to robotics, CircuitPython, tons of stuff. Definitely check it out.
I had a really cool maker on Instagram at me. He's like, hey, I'm trying to get this thing working with CircuitPython. I was like, I have no idea, but you know what? I bet you someone can help you in Discord. And literally within like 5 minutes, he was up and running with his project. That's really cool. So shout out to all the awesome contributors and helpers in the Discord chat room. Let's go ahead and take a look at this week's project. So this week's project, if you go to learn.adafruit.com, you can check it out right now. Hopefully this still works. Yeah, so this is our latest guide. We just published it this morning at like 12 in the morning, because that's when we publish. And we also made a nice little project video that talks about the project and really highlights MakeCode, which is an awesome programming editor that runs in your browser. So we'll take a look at that. We'll do some MakeCode stuff. So the project is a custom PCB. It's an add-on that breaks out the capacitive touch pins from the awesome Circuit Playground Express. Of course, Circuit Playground Express is like our flagship product that has all these lights and sensors and inputs. So no soldering required. It's just, you can plug in alligator clips into it. You can make all sorts of cool things. And with MakeCode, you don't have to learn a new syntax. You can drag and drop code blocks to make interactive projects or games or any type of thing that you can think of. It's pretty neat. So this overview page just kind of covers all the things that we used in this project, including tools. So if you're interested in some of the tools that we're using to put this stuff together, everything's here, down to the googly eyes and the blue silicone mat that I like to use that people seem to really like. Is my audio on?
Same thing this week.
Oh gosh, but I was on a roll, Pedro. I was on a roll.
Try again.
Is it my new Tesla shirt that's ruining the show? Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you, dude. I think you got it. Is that good? There's a delay there. Okay. All right, so back to reality. We are, we broke the fourth wall. Now we got to go back. What did I say? Blue silicone mat is super popular.
That is the first question that's asked.
Also,
where did
screws.
you get that?
Where do you get your screws? What are the length of screws? They're all there as well. So there's some things there. There's a good list of things that I use to mill. So let's jump into the next page, which really talks about the software. How do you get this stuff going? So we put together a nice little guide for how to get your Circuit Playground Express working with MakeCode. It's really, really easy, but we broke it down step by step. So if you're really, really new, if you're an educator and you don't know anything about this stuff and you really want to teach your students this, this will help you get started like right away. There's also a nice little helpful graphic that helps you set up your Circuit Playground Express. You basically download this file and then you drop it onto the Circuit Playground. When you plug it into your computer, the Circuit Playground shows up like a USB drive, and that's really cool. Yeah? Cool. All right, so we have the program that we put together for this project available to download and modify. You can use this link over here to play with it. So I just clicked it there, opened it in a new tab. And this is kind of interesting. So MakeCode kind of makes this interstitial page where it's embedded code in its own kind of page. And you can hit this edit button to actually start modifying the code. Or you can hit this play button over here, which gives you an interactive Circuit Playground. So if you don't have the Circuit Playground yet, and you just want to start playing with it and see if you can come up with some cool projects, you don't have to own the Circuit Playground. You can use the interactive simulator here. So I can start playing some sounds and some LEDs and stuff. It works just like the real Circuit Playground.
You can do things like shake it. You can control the lighting.
That's right. So yeah, so when you hit the edit button, it'll actually open it in a new editor, and then you can modify the blocks here. It looks like a lot here, but we break down every piece of the code here, every kind of block, and talk about how it works to build this interactive little synthesizer. So back over to the learning guide, we break down what the program does, and then we start kind of simple with just using inputs. So we talk about how you can quickly come up with inputs and then assign different pins or buttons, because there's 2 buttons on the Circuit Playground, to do things. And then we're talking about how to use the LEDs and the ringtones to create our little effect here. I'm not sure how my GIF is broken. We'll have to revisit that, but yeah. And then, of course, talking about playtesting, how you can use the simulator like we just showed to test your code to make sure that you're getting the behavior that you want. And then we kind of talk about momentary inputs, so kind of making this, this behavior where as you touch, it will, well, I guess we could show it now in the overhead. Is it on? I think we turned it off.
Yep, it's on.
All right, cool. So what we're talking about here with the momentary inputs is, let me look at my screen real quick, B. So what you can do is momentary inputs would be like as I touch and hold down the note, it keeps playing, and then as I let go, it stops. It's also stopping the NeoPixel. It's like turning it off. So that's sort of the expected behavior, right? From like pianos and any type of musical instrument, really. So we show how to do that, and you can do that by using two different states. You can have an up state and a down state, and we talk about that in this block here. Okay, so that kind of just breaks down, everything's breaking down even more detail. I'm just kind of doing an overview. And then the last block here, we're talking about how to build arpeggios, so combining different notes to make an arpeggio, and then using the repeat block to create loops, so we can create multiple notes playing, repeating, and then we can run it in parallel with one of the NeoPixel animations that are candid. And the best example is, if we go back over to the overhead, is hit that A button. So that's using of course it's a couple different notes put together, and then looping them 4 times, and then running it in parallel with this NeoPixel animation. So you get these two pieces of code that are running in parallel with each other. So it's pretty cool, yeah. All right, so that's the code portion of the project. And if you want a more thorough breakdown, you can read our documentation that's in the guide. Let's go back over there. I think it's C. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about actual PCB design. So I designed the PCB using Fusion 360, right? So that's really cool that you can make these custom shapes in Fusion 360 using their sketch tools. And then you can bounce out that sketch, it's a 2D sketch, as a DXF. A DXF file is what you typically use for laser cutting. It's like a vector. It's sort of like an SVG. There are vectors, but it's an Autodesk file format. So that's really cool. So you can get a DXF out of Fusion 360 and import it into EagleCAD. EagleCAD is a piece of software that lets you route PCBs and design custom PCBs. Lots of great tutorials out there that I linked to their YouTube channel, and the Autodesk team is working on future updates for Eagle all the time. And the DXF import works pretty well. So I have both files here available if you guys want to check those out. The Fusion 360 archive includes the sketches and the parametric timeline, so you can see how the little mount is structured. And then I also give away the EagleCAD file as well, so you can take a look at that. And I think the more important thing is the Circuit Playground Express Eagle library. So this is basically just a little object that has the pinouts, those 14 pinouts on the sides, and the board shape, so you can make your own shields for the Circuit Playground Express. Pretty much that's how I started. I started by just kind of redrawing the pins and making the exact dimensions and everything, and then labeling them so that they're in the correct pinouts. And then you can reuse that object in other designs. So I think that's a really nice thing to do and to use, really, for future things. So all that stuff is there. I might do a layer by layer on how to get custom shapes from Fusion into Eagle. There are some new kind of tricks that you can do if you're using like splines and stuff. This one's just kind of your standard arcs and straight lines, but making really complex shapes with splines is definitely doable. All right, so let's jump into the milling portion of this. So we did use our other mill, which has had a bit of a name brand change. They are now called the Bantam Tools Desktop CNC. So these are really awesome machines. They're great for startup companies that are manufacturing their own thing, so you don't have to send your PCB designs and wait like 2 weeks to get them back. So you can mill them in literally like 5 minutes, depending on your design. So for this specific project, it was really, really simple, and it only needed one layer, so it's not a double-sided FR1, it's just a single-sided PCB, so it works really easy. I don't have to do any special alignment brackets or anything. You can just stick it on with double tape to your bed and start milling, which is really nice. Now, the Bantam Tool software is super cool. I mean, that's what you're paying for in a sense. Like half of the price is going to the software because it's so good. It has native EagleCAD support, so you can drop in your Eagle file, and it'll create the CNC tool paths for you. It'll generate the G-code for you. And then you can kind of configure what type of tool you want to use. Since I've done a little bit of CNC milling, I know to kind of stick with one tool instead of just making these really, really fine traces. So my trace is a little bit thicker than you might expect, and that just makes it so I can use this bigger tool. The 132-inch flattened mill is like my favorite tool to use when milling. So I try to kind of make my designs for that tool. So that's a nice kind of tip. And then start cutting. You can start cutting the traces, the holes, or the outline, depending on what you're doing. Since the project is so simple, you can just do it all with one tool, which is really nice. You don't have to flip it because it's just single-sided. Okay, let's jump over to the post-processing. So what do you do when the thing's done cutting? You got a lot of cleanup to do. It is cutting away material, so I hope you have your vacuum handy. There's some little tips like you can use the rehome or the loading buttons to move the spoil board out of the way, so you can vacuum behind the spoil board or underneath it as well. And there's panels all over the thing too, so you can take those panels off. They're magnetic, and then you can get just about in every single nook and cranny of the other mill. Well, the Bantam Tools desktop CNC. Really cool. I really like using Scotch-Brite pads, scoring pads, to buff out all of the burrs and rough edges that might happen during the milling process. If you have a brand new tool, it'll be really nice and clean, but as you keep using that tool, it tends to get a little bit dull. So as you use it more, your trace is just going to get more and more burry and rough edges. So you can use that Scotch-Brite pad, just clean that up. And then one of the things I do to get the board off the spoil board, I probably didn't explain it, but you use double-sided tape, just regular Scotch tape, double-sided tape, to temporarily adhere the FR1 PCB to the spoil board. So how do you get it off? I don't recommend just prying it off because you could bend it or you could damage the FR1. So you can use alcohol in a squeeze bottle to get in between the two layers, and then you can just kind of wait for it to soak in, and then use a palette knife to get in between those strips of tape, and then just kind of pry it off because it will have loosened the adhesive, which works all the time. So if you don't have a squeeze bottle, get a squeeze bottle. I have it linked in the overview. They're really nice. I actually use it to clean our 3D printer bed all the time, the squeeze bottle with alcohol. Yeah. So very nice. So removing the PCB from the stock material, sometimes I say it's always better to not cut all the way through than to cut through your spoil bed. Mm-hmm. Spoil board. Oh, yeah. I keep saying that wrong. So you might need to use an X-Acto blade or a sharp knife to kind of cut through it, but I just kind of broke it off and then kind of used the Scotch-Brite to soften out those edges. And then some tweezers are handy as well for poking out those holes. So yeah, there you go.
Really nice alternative to having to wait so long.
Absolutely. Another thing I have here is if you want to take it further and you want to protect your PCBs that you milled, we have a special learn guide that's separate on how to use UV curable solder mask. So if you want to protect your copper from oxidizing and getting rusty, you can use some UV curable solder mask. Now let's talk about the 3D printing part of it. There's just one piece that's 3D printed. It's this little mount thing that holds the Circuit Playground Express. So I have STLs available for you. And we have some slice settings, pretty minimal slice settings. The standoffs are designed for M3 screws.
And the holes in the Circuit Player and Express are also M3 holes, so it just works out. As far as the CAD design, it's available to download, like the original Fusion 360 design. So you can download that. And we also have, if you are interested in getting just the Circuit Player and Express, you can check out our Fusion 360 CAD parts on GitHub. We put them in its own little repo. So you can take a look at our GitHub repo. And if you have a specific product, you can just search for the PID, which is how we structured the name here. But just the general things like screens, buttons, and sensors, and other things like that. We're keep growing the list, so we just keep adding more and more parts. And I'll talk about our latest part that we added in just a second after I finish this. And then the last part is assembly. Really easy. I'm using M3 hardware screws and nuts to attach to mechanically secure these two pieces together. It's a bit of a shield. And you can just use the screws because they're metal and they're electrically conductive, so they'll bridge our connections for our capacitive touch pads on the Circuit Player and Express. That's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward, and a lot more detail in the guide as you read through it if you are interested in building your own, or just kind of getting a close look at the process of kind of putting this thing together. So that's the project in a nutshell. And what I'll do now is we'll do a make code. Let's talk about a little bit about make code.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to jump into a brand new make code. I'm going to throw this away. And then I'm going to go into our make code green screen. So here's our make code thing. So real quick, I want to do a little bit of a up and down state programming thing. Little tip here. So last week we talked about using ringtones and how you can kind of make your own arpeggios. This time I just want to talk about making really simple up and down states. So what I have here is I have an on block, and you can grab it from the input. So I just grab this out. And by default, you see it's set to button A, and it's set as a click. But if you open these, you get a bunch of different options. You have the choices of A button, B button, and button A and B, and all of the 7 touch pads that you can work with. So you have up to 7 pads that you can make capacitive touch. It might not seem apparent at first, but these A through 7 are actually capacitive touch. As you touch them, they will trigger whatever event you want to put in this block. And then the thing right here where it says click. So at first I was playing with click, but then I realized that I want to use the up and down states to do this sort of momentary button behavior. So on the down state, I have it set up so that the NeoPixels all turn on to red, and then I'll play a ringtone with this high C note, which is really nice. You can kind of pick different notes like that. But what happens is if you only have one down state, or if you just have it on click, when you click it, it'll keep playing because there's nothing telling it to stop, right? So that's where the up state comes into play. So I'm going to have this set to down, and I'm going to go ahead and wait for my Circuit Player and Express to recompile the code. And then I'm going to use the simulator to kind of test this out. So I have it set to pin A. So I'm going to click on pin A and see what happens. It just stays on, right? So I'm going to hit the stop button here to stop the simulator, and then I'll hit play again to start it up. But that can be annoying, right? So how do you make it stop, right? So what you can do is let's delete this one. I can just right click this main block, duplicate it, and then I can say I want it to be an up state. So when the up state happens, this means when I lift my finger from the pad, I want everything to stop. I want the sounds to stop, and I want the pixels to turn off. That's really easy to do. You can just come in here and change the red to black. And then for the note, you kind of have to delete this piece and get another one. So under the music menu, we can grab the rest block, and this will tell our audio or our ringtone to stop playing, like to take a rest, chill out for a second. And then you have the option to say, well, how long do you want it to rest for? When I first used it, I thought like, oh, it'll rest for this much and it'll start playing again, right? No, it'll just stop. So that's really nice. And then another thing I noticed is that you probably want to have it stop as fast as it can. So you want to use a 1/16 note to do that, because that'll just kind of stop it as quick as it can. So now let's try this out. You see, as soon as I click on it, it turns off, right? So if I click and hold, as soon as I let go of the mouse, it works. And then if we try this out for realsies on our actual board, we get that same behavior that we're kind of used to. And of course, we can duplicate this many times and assign different notes and assign them to different capacitive touchpads. So these ones are not actually using, they are using the up and down states. They're not being held. So as you hold down, it'll just play it. See how it does keep the NeoPixel lit, but as soon as I let go, it stops it. Because these are arpeggios, I didn't want to keep the last note kind of playing. So that's why it's not like holding it down like this one. So anyway, that's kind of a good example of why you would use up and down states to create something like this momentary behavior.
Super cool.
So you can check out MakeCode by going to makecode.adafruit.com. We also have a special beta that you can check out to get web USB upload. So this works with Chrome, where you can upload the code directly from your browser, so you won't have to download that UF2 file and flash the circuit playground every time. So that really speeds up the workflow.
Oh yeah, so I don't even use the one where you have to drag and drop the stick. That's too much time wasted.
I really am hoping that MakeCode will release this soon.
It's not out of beta. It's not like private, so you can definitely just go.
Yeah, I have the link. Yeah, in the description.
Just go to that. Don't even do the drag and drop thing.
You have to the first time to get your board flashed
just that one time
in that right mode, and then you
that is the only time you should be doing that.
And you just have to keep aware of the URL at the top bar, because.
And then one thing too, if you go over to the cogwheel, if you've already set it up, you can actually repair it really easily instead of having to do that again, which I kept doing after like a couple of days would pass. I would hook it back up. I would still drag the UF2 over because I wasn't pairing, but there's a pairing option right there in the cogwheel, and when it is connected, it will show you the device.
Sorry.
So it will remember.
Right.
It's just not hooked up to the computer right now.
I don't have it plugged in. I have it plugged into a battery right now because I have 100 things plugged into my computer.
But definitely keeping that in mind when you want to repair.
Right. And of course, you do want to use that link that has the beta prefix, or maybe it's a suffix, in the URL that allows you to do the web USB upload. Cool. All right. If anybody has any questions, please let us know, and we'll take a moment to take them.
Yeah, we'll take a look at some of the comments coming in for this. People saying that you can remodify this as a... John K is saying that you could modify this as a private access device. Stuff with Kirby and Andy are saying, yes, it does look like a cross between Mickey Mouse and Dr. Zoidberg.
Oh, the thing itself, yeah. Yeah, so interesting thing about this thing is there's some interest to kind of stock this in the shop, so we might be stocking it in the shop. Yeah, the only thing we need to do is kind of we got to work with Lamar to make it pass our DRC, so that we can actually manufacture it. Because right now it's kind of halfway done, right? It works really well for a prototype, and it mills out CNC, lovely, but then there's opportunity. He's like looking over there, but then there's opportunity to create sort of artwork for the silk screen and doing some interesting techniques like using solder mask and revealing like the gold copper layers. Yeah. Gold copper, is it gold or is it copper?
Yeah, there's so much space on there. There's lots of artistic leeway we can add to that. So we'll be working on that. If you want to go ahead and just grab this right now, you can download the file, send it off to Oshpark.
Yep. And another thing is that you don't have to, of course, mill your own custom PCB. This is a little fancy. You could just use copper tape, or if you have access to like a vinyl cutter, you could try cutting some foil, maybe copper foil sheets, and then create your own synthesizer, your own capacitive touch gamepad or something.
Which we will be looking at in a future episode.
That's
just straight up cutting a sheet of copper.
And this just reminds me too, you can actually turn this into a keyboard. So if you wanted to do a video game pad that's a USB controller for like PC games, you could use the MakeCode extension, the HID extension, which I'll quickly show you guys. So if you go over here under Advanced, there's something called extensions. If you click on that, you can see we got quite a bit of extensions. And one of them is, oh, Cricket's there too. But one of them is called Keyboard, and the other one's called Gamepad. So you can do a proper gamepad over HID. which is a human interface device, which is kind of your standard USB controllers. I'll use that protocol. And then the keyboard emulates a keyboard, so you can make your Circuit Playground behave like a keyboard. So check that out. MakeCode's just growing in functionality and making really fun things accessible for everybody.
And I forgot where Lamar said to actually post any feedback, suggestions. The team is always looking for that.
Yeah, I think there's a link somewhere here in the interface, which I don't know where it is actually. There it is. It's under the question mark, so let's go ahead and jump back in there. If you have any problems, any hookups with MakeCode, you can hit the little question mark, and then there's a support link that you can click on. I don't know where that takes me. It takes us to the Adafruit forums. Look at that.
There you go.
Yeah, and you have the core developers of what is it, PXT? That's what they call it, Microsoft PXT. Yeah, so cool.
Definitely leave back your feedback on that form.
Yay.
They are taking a look at that. Very seriously.
I would love to see a simple Simon Says type game.
Carter Nelson has actually made one. I added a link there to
is it
the
Circuit
chat.
Python or is it? Might not be MakeCode.
I don't think it's Express. It might be just Circuit Python, yeah.
Might be
But
the classic.
you
Oh
can-
yeah, it's the
I think it's classic, yeah.
Circuit Playground, which is still pretty awesome.
I'm pretty sure though that he might have coded it over or ported it over, so definitely check that out.
For Circuit Python, yeah.
There you go.
So it was originally Arduino, probably. Awesome. Well, that's really fun. Yeah. Cool. Hope that gets some creative ideas flowing. All right. So that is this week's project. Again, if you want to check it out, you can download the STLs, modify lots of files. Check out the Learn Guide.
Yeah, lots of files to modify.
Yeah.
Always love when people show their modifications for that. Let's go ahead and jump into this week's what are we prototyping. Been talking about this Labo input button for the Circuit Playground Express for quite a while now. Finally releasing it next week. We were showing this off at our weekly meeting. I think we showed this off last week as well. Lamar has a suggestion. Hey, 4th of July is coming up. Why don't we have this button actually shoot off some fireworks?
Yeah, so how do you do
Make
that?
it a igniter out of that.
Let's make it an igniter. A cardboard box igniter. Well, it's not cardboard. Technically, it's chipboard. But it's still made out of paper. So
I think
it's like a paper box.
I think it's still funny that we're using something that can burn to light off fireworks.
Yeah. Hey.
But super cool. It definitely works as that. We did try a couple of different things to get the Circuit Playground with Cricket to have it go off. But in the end, we just went with some 9-volt batteries. We'll show the way that the copper tape is all hooked up to that. And all it does is just touch the, make contact on that.
Do you want to set up your LED while I talk about the construction?
That's all it does. So just pretend this is one of those rocket fuse igniters. We got a couple of those. Did some tests, and this worked out really well.
Yeah.
So let's just have some
a little bit. So this was constructed out of chipboard, and this was cut. Come on. What is going on?
Let me unfocus because it looks cool with the bokeh.
Okay. So this is actually inspired, this design is inspired from the Nintendo Labo cardboard, specifically the house kit.
Which I don't think a lot of people actually built because it's like the, not the cool one like, the motorcycle or the piano, but it has a very interesting part for it.
How many pieces is this? Is this one piece that's all folded origami
it is
style?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, I believe.
There's no glue to assemble. This is all just fold and tuck and folds.
Yeah, so this is what it actually looks like.
This is what actually the flat pack looks like here. So this the Nintendo Labo team released their files, their vector files, but unfortunately they weren't like properly. They're not ready to go
purposely
for
rip
cutting
them up. Yeah,
I don't know
when you
about
take a look
that.
at the SVG or the PDFs of that, that might be the other reason.
Anyway, Peter did some work. He had to redraw them, and he had to draw them in a way where it works with this chipboard. So this file will be available to download and cut your own. You could also cut it, you could print it on a 2D inkjet printer, lay it on top of your material and cut it out yourself.
So we did do tests with that with a little bit thicker cardstock than like regular, A4 paper or whatever. That totally worked.
So you could also cut this out of cardstock.
Cardstock, yeah.
Because all the tabs and stuff, fold to tuck into the little.
It works surprisingly well. Yeah.
So that's how we constructed the box, and it's fairly easy to do so. It also comes out here, which I don't want to do because there's copper tape in there. Or does the other one have copper tape?
They're both constructed the same way.
Okay, cool. Well, this one has a Circuit Playground Express. again, to copper tape, or you can use alligator clips in a combination of the two.
So there's no soldering.
Yeah, there's still no soldering required, which is really cool. It's just a neat looking button. I really like the spring mechanism, which makes it work.
Yeah, everybody does their like cap touch with like, you know, copper tape or some flat thing. I was really impressed by the way that they were able to make a mechanism, you know, with like a springy action with just cardboard. And it, again, like we said, it works excellent with just regular cardstock paper as well. So that was the main thing about this project, just this button.
Yeah. So John K, great comment. He said this would be a good device to launch his Estes rockets. Am I saying that right?
Estes, something like that. Yeah.
Estes rocket. Yeah. Estes is the #1 manufacturer brand of rocket igniters and engines.
They're like a Hobby Lobby.
So we're playing around with them. Let's see what we did. You ready?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that.
All right, so this is our first test.
And it's just a simple 9-volt. I think everybody knows that you can probably do this.
The thing here, though, is we're using alligator clips. We're using our slide switch, our JST slide switch adapter to kind of make it a little bit easier.
We have a whole video on how to build these.
Yeah, so all it's doing is just turning on, it's just closing the circuit. And then there's some, I don't know, explosive material? Gunpowder or something on the edge of this wire.
Which I think this is
coated with that.
Yeah, so we're going to turn this into, or we're going to make like a little 3D printable mold thing where you can like shave off match heads to like mold like.
Yeah, where is it?
I don't have it here.
I see it. It's behind your mug. Oh, and then we also tried, well, how can we programmatically trigger this thing? So we're doing a little bit of tests with the Cricut and Circuit Player Express to make our own sort of controller, a launch sequence of some sorts, because it'd be really neat to do kind of animatronics with light, like actual pyrotechnic effects.
Yeah, sort of like a mini.
Still some work to do here.
Mini fireworks show.
Right. This seems to work with just the 5-volt pin out of the NeoPixel, but we need to be able to control it. So we're probably gonna have to use relays or something. This greatly complicates the project.
Yeah,
we really
this
just
is not
want to
what
make
we're
it
going to
simple.
look at. Yeah,
talking about the construction of the button is hard enough, so we're going to do that, and then maybe in the following weeks we'll show how to. We'll pursue this project and figure out how to actually do a proper igniter with a relay of sorts.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's take a look at.
It's a little expensive to have the Cricut on there to just have it go off. So we won't do it until we can figure out like timing wise, like with music, with like motors going to have a nice little fireworks show. But for now, it's just going to be a simple igniter. And yeah, we were taking a look at King of Random.
Yeah, Grant Thompson, King of Random on YouTube, shows how to build your own rocket igniters with just a simple match head and 2 pieces of wire.
Yep, so that works. So we'll be trying that out.
Right. You might need 2 9-volts, but hey, it might work well.
But that's some stuff for prototyping.
Yeah, we got some cool comments here. Steel wool works well as well.
Oh, yeah.
Steel wool works.
Try that.
That's a good alternative. Salt Petri, sulfur, and charcoal. Ooh, there we go. That's what makes the match head, huh? And then if anybody from the TSA is here, maybe they're taking notes. Oh no. We're live, we can't take it back now. All right, so if you want to pick up Circuit Player on Express, you can sign up for the notifications because we're out of stock, but you can also pick up some other things like, this is very useful, very handy, 9-volt battery plug. That's the one we're using, right? Yeah, this one comes with a barrel jack, so you can cut that off and put another thing in there.
JST,
maybe, I would recommend maybe a JST or the alligator heads, the alligator clips. Probably works well. Cool. All right. Let's move on to layer by layer. Let's do some CAD stuff real quick. So this week we did a nice update to the Circuit Player on Express 3D CAD model. So we have a model of the Circuit Player on Express. We
Unfortunately,
had to update it because the one we made a couple of months ago is out of date.
Whenever the drone claw came out, as I was modeling, I figured out, oh no, none of the components are actually aligning with where I need to stick the holes on.
That's right. So here's our update to the Circuit Player on Express. Yay! It has the new components. We now have...
And they line up.
IR, or TX and RX. The IR LED receiver and transmitter right here. So we have those there. And we also have a bunch of components. If you look in the sidebar, I have tons of components here. All the LEDs, even the status LEDs are here. And also some things that we probably don't really need, like the accelerometer and the amplifier, but they're all here. But more importantly, all the sensors are exact placements of where they need to be. You also notice that we have the silk screen added. So you can actually add your own silkscreen or decals using the decal feature inside of Fusion 360. So if you go under the insert, there's a decal. So you click on decal, and then you can select whatever face you want. So let's say we want to select that face, and then we can select an image. Wish I had my image handy, because then I could add the bottom silkscreen, because I have yet to do that. So I'll do a layer by layer tutorial, a proper one, probably like 15 minutes long, on how to, step by step, how to add decals, and kind of how to fuss with it, and maybe even, I guess, Photoshop it so you can get like precise holes and stuff. But just a quick preview. This is out. It's available right now on the GitHubs. So check out our GitHub site for the Circuit Playground Express update. It's over, oh gosh, where is it? GitHub, it's over here. Yeah. I also exported out as the STL because I know people just want the STL and they don't have to bother to export the STL from Fusion and download Fusion. So I figured I'd give the STL, and moving forward we'll start adding STLs for each of the parts as well. Because right now they're mostly just the F3D file, which is like the original source file that's for Fusion 360. Yeah, so check that out. And if anybody has any questions about it or wants to contribute, please feel free to make a fork, pull request, whatever they call it these days. Yeah, so that's our layer by layer segment. And we'll do a full layer by layer in the coming weeks.
Let's go ahead and jump into this week's Shop Talk.
Okay, let's go into Shop Talk. We're actually going to talk about some new some products that are in the shop right now that you can pick up that we've been talking about and that we're really big fans of. So let's check out the first ones. So the Alligator clips. So the NeoPixel LEDs with Alligator clips, pre-made for you. Wow, no soldering required to work with NeoPixels now. That's huge. That's really cool, and it really works great with our Circuit Playground Express. So these are the cheapest NeoPixel strips we've ever had.
Excellent like for workshops,
bucks, you know, for
classrooms.
Like you want to make this sword? $100.
Yeah.
This one's great for workshops and just kind of teaching, just kind of having around. So they're weatherproofed. They already have silicone sheathing. They have just the right wire lengths that you need. And we have them in 2 different flavors. We have a 60 LED one that's half a meter in length. And then we also have this one, which is a full meter, but only 30 of them. So the density isn't so high. But they are priced accordingly. So this one's $15. And if you want a shorter, but with more LEDs, it's only $13.
I would recommend going with the 60.
I would too.
Of course, that depends on how big the thing you want to light up is. So
yeah, this is great because again, we're really used to kind of having to solder stuff on wires. And, now you don't have to do that. You can just plug it in. It works really well.
Yeah, anytime we have to solder something that we feel like, oh no, this is not fun.
Yeah, and we were thinking, well, what can you do with it? I think just kind of having it as backlight lighting or signs.
Backlights, desk lighting works really well.
Right, or just kind of adorning your robot or whatever project you're working with with NeoPixel lights. This is always a fun thing to do. And it's even easier and more accessible, more affordable.
Ooh, ground effects for an ATV. Yeah, it's an excellent idea.
Yeah, and we have a couple of tutorials on the Learn site too that show you how to get colors that complement the imagery on your TV.
Yeah, yeah.
Phil B did that. Very cool.
There's also various clips for the strips that you can download as well, 3D print.
Ooh.
We actually also sell those, I think it's like silicone plastic type clips for the strips to like put on shelving or something like that.
We do. Yeah.
We sell those.
John K. saying this would look great in his aquarium.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Very cool. Yeah, for Halloween. It's coming up.
Oh, yeah,
Adorn it with your pumpkin. So get those. And use the coupon code CAPTOUCH. Get 10% off your LEDs that are actually in stock. Yay! Awesome. So that's our little bit of shop talk. We got some more. We also got another product over here. This is what you need to get your Cricut working. So the Cricut requires a little bit more power than your regular LiPo batteries. So we got this 4 AA battery holder with the actual 2.1 plug, and it has an on and off switch. So let's see it in action, Pedro, if you want to pull it out over there.
Oh, yeah.
Just make sure. Don't touch the camera.
Oh, I touched it.
Don't touch the camera.
Here we go.
All right, so let's take a look at this battery thing. All right, so this is our Cricut board. We have a really simple setup here. This is a Circuit Playground Express. This is a Circuit Playground version of the Cricut board, which allows you to control a lot of different things: NeoPixels, motors, drivers, servos, and CapTouch, and also a ton of Signal I/O. So this battery pack makes your kind of creative robotic project portable. So we got 4 AA's in here. What kind of AA's? These are the rechargeable ones. I can turn this on, and I'm running a simple circuit Python script that just has this motor going forwards and backwards at 100% and then at 50%. So that's all it's doing. So just kind of highlighting this battery pack, which is very essential. Does it come with the barrel jack, Pedro?
Yes, it does.
Okay, ours we cut it off because I don't know what happened. We cut ours off. Oh, here
I think we got old ones, yeah.
Oh, we got older ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so the new ones actually have the barrel jack in there. You don't need this screw terminal. But if you do, maybe you want to do some experiments. We have this terminal block as well. But yeah, that's the battery pack. Works really well with the Cricut and other robotic platforms, I believe. Yeah.
Next thing related to that, these really cool small PCB test points.
These are awesome. We saw these and we're like, I think we can use this for something more than just test points with these specific things. So they're little snap-in pins. They snap into the 0.01 inch pins. I think that's how big they are. 1.27 millimeters. So the cool thing you can do with this, Chris Schmitz on Twitter actually shared exactly what we wanted to do. So
yeah, we were wondering, everybody was asking too, will these also work with alligator clips because they're showing the, what they're called, test point things, yeah.
Whatever these things are, like analog probes or something. Yeah.
And everybody wanted to know, would these work with alligator clips? We got these in, we forgot to test them out, but luckily Chris is on the case, and they work perfectly even on NeoPixel rings, which have been notoriously really hard to solder to.
Yeah, because really, really tight spots, tight spaces and traces, right? So this is really nice because, again, no soldering required. They just plug and snap into the pin.
Especially when you want to prototype something, see if your code's working, or if you want to arrange something, these are lifesavers.
Yeah, and I would love to see us stock multiple colors, because right now you get like a bunch of white or a bunch of black.
Lamar did say that if these were popular, he'd look into it.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys dig this stuff. And let us know if you want to see more colors as well. So we'll get that going, I think, with enough input feedback. But yeah, this is great.
Yeah,
it's
John.
not required to get your NeoPixel ring. You just want to test your code. You don't want to have to spend all that time. Oh man, it's time to go to bed.
Or if you're, again, workshops, classrooms.
Yeah.
That eliminates a lot of headache.
Sweet.
John K said he got these last week and they were working great.
Sweet. Yeah, this is a really great example because the Trinket is the smallest board we make, and yeah, you can use alligator clips with it. Without the plugs, I don't think it works. it's too small.
Yeah,
Alligator
you might short something there.
Yeah, so hey, it works. Awesome. And
very awesome.
Stock, so if you want to pick them up and get a pack of 100 for like $10, and that's all you ever need. I don't know.
Very awesome.
Okay, cool. Is that it for Workshop Talk?
There is a couple more things. You've been doing some more tests with the iron-on vinyl T-shirt stuff.
That's right.
Really cool designs.
I just released
all of them.
All the SVGs on Twitter, thanks to Chris Schmitz, who actually inspired me to do so.
Because he just went ahead and created his own for his daughter.
Yeah, so
these look very cool.
Yeah.
Look at these.
So
nice color combo.
Yeah, he made like a whole family set of them. So it's great. He actually made his own. He took the Papercraft Adabot.
Yes.
And then just did an outline using a graphics editor. But you don't have to, because now you can get the thing already made, like this Adabot shirt here, which you can zoom in and see.
Yeah, I wish there was like a preview.
He has a little bit more detail. Oh gosh, I can't really zoom in. Does anybody know how to zoom into this? Open image in new tab. Does that actually work? Oh, it does. So there you go. I can't zoom into him though.
Huh.
Yeah, it's kind of weird with SVGs in Chrome, huh? But anyway, we have that one and a whole slew of them. So check out the links in the description.
We might go ahead and turn this into a tutorial, since there are ways that you have to actually make your artwork so that it cuts away at the underlying layer, so they're not really stacking up on top of each other.
Yep. Last week we talked about how you want to avoid layering vinyl because it gets thick and the edges won't adhere so well. And the latest one was Minerva. We showed off Minerva last week, and I'm actually going to wear that shirt tomorrow. I should have worn it today.
I know, me too.
So yeah, another thing, the last tip I'll say is be sure to read your t-shirt, because machine wash hot will shrink shirts, and my Tesla shirt here is shrinking a little bit because I used hot water. Should have used cold water. That will ruin your, it won't ruin the vinyl, but it'll just shrink it and make your vinyl look wrinkly. So to avoid that, you know, cold water. Oh boy, like I've never done laundry before.
So of course we'll be making some more designs for future characters, so definitely keep a lookout for that. Next up, TinkerCAD now has code blocks as well.
Let's go to that. So TinkerCAD, great piece of software, runs completely in the browser, and now they want a piece of that
code block
action. So check it out. We haven't played with it yet because the blog came out not yesterday but 2 days ago now. And just look at the GIFs; they look really well. So it's the block-based editor.
You can see it's playing through all of the actions, like creating the sphere, doing your cutouts, moving things around on the X, Y, and Z, like what's a cutaway graphic.
So
or
if you're a programmer
object.
and you don't like using
This reminds me of SCAD,
drawing tools, then yeah, it kind of a little bit reminds me. There's no real typing syntax; it's more code code blocks. It says right there, great for beginners and experienced coders, as well as teachers looking to bring coding into their classrooms. It's powered by Scratch blocks with some basic 3D knowledge. You'll be off. So they got a nice little GIF here of building a rocket, and I think the rocket like shoots up. We're excited for you to give code blocks a try. So it's beta right now. They tell you how to access it. You can free, just sign up. It's free to sign up for the Autodesk account, and you can start working with CAD stuff and code blocks.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. What do you guys think? Let us know. Okay, another thing, there's a new version of Cura in town. 3.4 just released.
They
got
have,
some good stuff.
I think, caught up to Simplify 3D with the introduction of PVA interface layers.
That's right. So there's obviously a lot of things that they've updated, which we'll just kind of skim through. But the main thing what we're really looking forward to is support interfaces. What does that mean? Well, let's jump into Cura and take a look at an example.
Dzingoff tweeted out.
Shout out to Asher, or better known as Dzingoff, who brought this to my attention. He's actually over here.
Let me give him a follow. He does a lot of really cool 3D printing, electroplating, super awesome designs as well.
That's right. So this is the Nefertiti model, and as you can see, the orangish yellow is just kind of your regular PLA. And then the white stuff is going to be PVA. Remember when we did that PVA project where we were dissolving complex shapes to make like moving hinges and stuff?
Yeah. Oh, well, how I wish we could have had this back then.
That makes overhangs so much nicer and cleaner than having to use just regular PLA.
For one, it's not going to adhere to it. Yeah. It's not going to fuse together with the support material, and you get a lot more cleaner bottoms.
So let's jump back into this example, where it shows a ton of supports, right? With this geometry, you can it's actually our little holder for our microphones, our microphone receivers. Yeah. So you can see if we were to use PVA for the whole thing, for the whole support materials, it would use up a lot of PVA, a lot of it.
Yeah.
And you don't need to use up a lot of it. So by allowing you to specifically choose another extruder to use PVA for just the interface layer is what's in between the support material and your actual model. That's this purple layer here that we're looking at. So this is going to save us a lot of time and material, which means money. So that's good, because PVA ain't cheap, at least the stuff we get. You have the option to do the interface bottom layer, how thick and how dense you want it to be. You have a lot of control over this thing. I kind of wish the material color was different. Is it line type? What would it be? Yeah, it kind of shows it. I really want to show the difference between the part and the
support material,
the actual supports. But the support, the main beef of it would be in PLA.
You could actually fake that by saying that the supports is the second. Oh wait, no, you can't. There's no three extruders on this.
So we have yet to press this out because we literally just did it this morning.
So we set up the file, and we'll print it out in a little bit, but I think this will work pretty well. We'll see. So interface supports in Cura. Yeah, very cool. And I'll switch back over here. Excellent. So awesome. Thanks again. Shout out to the Zingoff.
One tip that it's related to the comment we just got from True Tech on using larger nozzles. The Zingoff did mention adjusting the settings for the what was it? The
1mm nozzle.
Yeah, for the 1mm nozzle, you want to adjust the how close it is, right? How close the interface layer is to your actual supports, just so you get a good adhesion on that.
Tweets and replies. There it is. Yeah, he gives you specific numbers. Yeah, 2mm thick. Interface layer, and he's finding that the PVA doesn't stick so well to the PLA, and the PVA extruder is actually 1mm, so I definitely want to use the purge tower. It doesn't work well without it.
Oh wow.
So there you go. Awesome.
Shout out to True Tech in the YouTube chat saying that he's going to be using his CR10 S5, the really big printer, to do some furniture like small chairs.
Oh, that's great.
Very cool. Definitely share the models. We just got the email that we are getting that what is it, the Ultimaker S5, the big Ultimaker. Yeah. So it'll be here soon. I have made no room for it, so I'm gonna have to worry about that one.
And we're also getting the Prusa probably soon.
Yeah.
And a model price one that's like
their new little tiny one. So for those of you who have stuck around with all the cardboard and slime and all those weird projects, don't worry, we'll be getting back into nothing but 3D printing soon.
Can the supports be recycled? The question from Andy. Yes and no.
So they dissolve. I mean the PVA stuff,
the PVA
but
stuff.
regular
PLA.
You could.
I think there's a ratio. It's like 30% recycled PLA with 70% virgin PLA. I think is the thing.
Yeah.
But don't quote me on that because I'm not too sure. But yeah, yes and no. It's kind of a thing.
Kirby, time to add another room. I think it's time for another purge.
Oh yeah. Hey, Kirby, let's not have any room. Okay, so the PLA. Yes.
Yes, maybe. The PLA you should be able to recycle those. I think Illustrator recently came out with a new model of their grinder extruder.
And there's some great open source projects too.
Definitely check that out.
Extruders, which is pretty cool. All right, well, that's it for Shop Talk. Okay.
I think that's it for the show. We're almost...
We still have Community Makes.
We're going to have to do a speed round. Yeah, definitely. Let's make some time for the really awesome animatronics from Jim Scuba.
Yeah, real quick, again, this is Chris Schmitz. Great job making
follow him.
The t-shirts.
Lots of really cool stuff.
Yeah. All right, so Jim 2386, or better known as Jim Scuba, he released a long part video series of how to build programmable animatronics using the Feather platform, which is awesome. So he has a bunch of STLs, and what this thing looks like is like this. This is an animatronic eyes. So check out Jim's Twitter and Thingiverse page for all the things if you are interested in building your own animatronics powered by the Adafruit Feather. And here it is, actually kind of eerie. He's controlling it here. He has a controller with his hands. He also has it pre-animated, pre-canned. This is so cool. So if you want to build one of these, check it out. Yeah. Very, very cool.
Very awesome.
I actually sent him a Cricut board.
Yes,
so,
he does have it in hand.
Some stuff.
I'm sure he'll have some really cool stuff cooking up.
Very, very cool. So check it out.
And I think he's in the chat room. Yeah, let us know if you need anything else. We have been authorized to pretty much let you play around with whatever you need.
Let us know. Yes, and I don't want to have the audio play because then we'll get flagged. But yeah, this is
so cool too.
If
you missed this, this is so cool. If you've ever been to any of the Disney Tiki rooms,
this is from the Enchanted Tiki Room from Disneyland, and I believe it's also in Disneyland and Disney World. So a lot of different things going on here: servos, and NeoPixel LEDs, and sounds. Very, very cool. It's all synchronized. Very awesome. So check out Jim Scuba on
very
Thingiverse
awesome post-processing stuff on there, like the painting and stuff.
Looks so fun.
Really nice.
Like that's when the thunder comes.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's so fun. So check them out. We got all the links in the
All right, close the video. I want to go plan another trip.
Yeah. Okay, so real quick, this person on Thingiverse.
Some really cool modifications to the Octoprint Raspberry Pi little stand that you made.
Yep, this is the first one. This is just a make of it, and it's saying that it works with the Kumin TFT 3.5 inch, so it also works with other TFT displays, not just the Adafruit one. That's really nice. We like it when people use other parts as well. And then this was actually remixed by 57808 on Thingiverse. He posted this. He added a little kind of insert to allow our little stand to work with a Microsoft Surface tablet and this one here. I'm not sure which one this is. But you basically print out ours and then you print this little insert piece.
That's so cool.
And then it fits right here with a little bit of padding.
I love how it's just a simple little bracket that'll adjust it to work with other devices.
Yeah, you don't have to remake the whole thing. You can just add a little insert to the add-on.
Love seeing those.
So that's what we found this week. If you guys have any things you'd like to share with us, you can do so by hitting us up on any of the social channels or, of course, Discord as well.
Go ahead and add us for any questions, feedback.
We'll get to those. He has his Sigma sitting in the
everybody's talking about how many printers they all have in the house.
Yeah. We all have problems.
We all have printer problems.
Printer problem. Well, printer, no problem. Well, just quick, we do the show every Wednesday at 11 p.m. Not on a Thursday, but on a Wednesday. We used to do it on Thursday many years ago. Tonight, we have even more shows. So if you want to show your projects off, and show them to the world, you can do so by going to our show and tell. You can get the invite by hanging out on YouTube or the Discord server. It happens tonight at 7:30 p.m. It happens every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m.
Yep, links are actually posted in the live broadcast channel on Discord, so you can just click on that. It'll take you right there. You don't have to
it also shows up as a header in the blog, the Adafruit blog.
Yeah, we have a ticker for anything that's going on, like breaking news type stuff on the blog. So
apparently we're not shipping on July 4th. There's a holiday.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ask Engineer is right after Show and Tell at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Full hour of the Martin Phil. We'll see some new products.
That's when all the new products release. Full hour.
Vault stuff.
All the cool stuff that's being worked on. And if you want to wait until tonight when all the products are released and you still want a discount code, go ahead and check out John Park's show.
Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, 4 p.m. Check out John Park.
Got some really awesome make code minutes as well. Lots of animatronics. The cool stuff that he's working on for AdaBox 08.
Thank you guys so much for your support and helping the team grow and keep them well fed.
Yes.
Because it takes a lot of people, a village, to run something.
Yeah.
To build an Adafruit, it takes a village. A small village. So we thank you so much. So don't forget, coupon code is here, and there's another one tonight and tomorrow. So plenty of chances to get your orders in. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Did we play anything else?
I think that's it. We got all the stuff. Follow us on all the socials for all the behind the scenes. We're always posting stuff that we're working on. And with that, everybody make
shipbuildings. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. But until then, remember to make a great day.
See you guys.
Adios. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one.